For this demonstration, I would like to show you how to use the Educreations app for the project that we're going to be doing in class. So when you open the app, your screen will be blank, unlike mine. Notice I had some students practicing. To create the new lesson, so this would be the group leader, you're going to hit the plus icon up here in the top left corner, and you get a blank screen. Now, you'll notice that it defaults to give you a whiteboard surface, which is something that you can write on, or you can draw. You can also erase up here and do things of that nature. But what I would like you to do for this project is to build a very basic presentation that you will teach using the app. Now, the group leader can be the narrator, or you can have each person do their own narrations on various slides. So let me just show you kind of a typical way that I would envision this working for this project. In this surface here, you can add content to your whiteboard screen. So if I tap the plus icon, I have three free options. I can add text, I can add an image, or even snap a picture. Now when you tap the image, it goes to the camera roll. So this is where you want to have things saved to include in your video. So as members of the group are finding resources, they need to be saving it to that shared Google Drive folder. And then the group leader can then save from that Google Drive folder to his or her camera roll on the iPad. Hopefully that makes sense. So let me demonstrate how that would work. First, I'll go over here to Keynote. So let's say that this is some slides that you want to maybe include in Keynote. You can do that, or Prezi, or Google Slides, or whatever you want to use. So here comes Keynote, and I'm going to play this slide, and then I'm going to screenshot it. Okay, so now that I have screenshotted that slide, it's saved to my camera roll. And let's say that there's something I searched here for mass transit in the Gilded Age using Google Images. Notice I made the copyright settings labeled for non-commercial reuse. And let me find here, this is the Brooklyn Bridge. So I want this image here, and I want to save this to the camera roll. I'm going to press and hold on the image and get the option to save image. Now, one important note here, please make sure that you keep track of your sources. Your source is not the Google search link. Your source is going to be here. So you want to either tap View Image to find the actual source, or Visit Page to get the source. And that's the source that you're going to cite for this image. Okay, so now that's saved to my camera roll. Of course, here's some information that maybe would help you with your presentation. I am okay with Wikipedia, by the way, but just make sure that you verify it. So if you find some useful information in Wikipedia, just check the sources for it. The sources are at the bottom. Next, I'm going to grab, you can use really whatever app you want, because remember, anything that you do when you do app smashing, as this practice is called, is saving to the camera roll. So screenshotting and saving to the camera roll. So let me just open quickly a timeline that I've done. Here's this one, Crisis of Union. And I want this. I can screenshot it, or I can actually go finish here. And I can send this as a PDF and then screenshot that if I want, or I'll just do this and save that to the camera roll. So now let me go back to Educreations. And again, you can do this with all kinds of different apps. So it's an opportunity for you to really redefine the task here. So I'm going to go back to Educreations. I'm going to go into my photos. Oh, here we are. It's in my drafts. And let's say that I want that Keynote slide. Oh, didn't screenshot the one I wanted. But let's just say for examples that if this is the one I wanted. In fact, I could probably edit this. I'll delete that now, and we can fix that later. But I could actually go back in my photos and crop. Let me demonstrate that here for you. So let me go ahead and crop this image to the one that I wanted. That works. Okay. And then back to Educreations. So really an opportunity for you to be creative here. There it is. That's what I want as my first slide. Now I'm going to hit the next arrow down here at the bottom, and notice I'm on slide 2 of 2, which I know my Windows bar here is kind of in the way, but at the bottom of the screen it says 2 of 2. And I want my next slide to be the Brooklyn Bridge. And maybe I'll add some text in here. And I'll add in the Brooklyn Bridge. And then when I go to record this, I can talk about more information. Now I'm going to tap here at the bottom and add another slide. And I'm going to add in my timeline, even though it has nothing really to do with this topic, but just for the purposes of demonstration. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to my first slide, and I want to start recording the video. So you and your group have decided on what's going to be said or who's going to say which part. Again, remember, just a 3 to 4 minute video is fine. So this doesn't have to be elaborate. But I'll tap the record here, and now I can introduce my topic and say, welcome to my presentation on life in the Gilded Age. Now, by the way, when you're recording, you could actually be drawing on this surface. So you could record your annotations. Then I'll go to my next slide, and I'll hit my record again and talk about the Brooklyn Bridge being a modern marvel for the 1880s. It was completed in 1883. I might discuss how these two towers were built, and I can draw here on the screen, and that's being recorded. So let's say that's how you complete your presentation. When you're done, you'll go to this exit button here in the top left corner, and it'll ask you to save the draft or save finished video. So I'm going to save the finished video, and I'm going to give it a title, Sample Lesson. Give it a description. You can choose the subject area and the grade level. You can make it private, which means that you can just share it with the class, or publish to the Educreations community. That means anybody in Educreations can find it. So I'll hit save. Okay, and there's my sample lesson. Now what I want to do is I want to tap select, and now I realize my clock is in the way. Let me move that. Select was up here. Tap the sample lesson, and then there's the Shero. And I have several options. So what you want to do here is you want to copy the link, because that is the link that you will go back, the group leader will add to the discussion forum in Schoology. Okay, so that's how the project will work. I hope that helps. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or message me on Schoology while I'm away at the conference. But I'm really looking forward to when I come back to town Friday night, I'm going to start watching your videos. Of course, remember, you need to also be watching the videos as part of the assignment over the weekend once the project is completed. Thank you for listening, and have a great day.